Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, so this webinar is organized by Common Europe, and it may happen that some of you do not know Common Europe. So a very short introduction. Common Europe is an umbrella organization of 18 countries and 18 user groups. That means many of the European countries do not have a user group, but at the same time they can become member of Common Europe also. And our mission is the professional advancement of community. Then, which are our activities? The activities are annual congress, then iTour, then webinars, then networking. And networking is very important aspect because we all know that it is in the real in-person events that we share many more experiences and really are happy to meet friends and do other businesses, whereas in, let's say, virtual, it is not necessarily the same thing. And last but not least, we have the SIAC, that is the Common Europe Advisory Council. Okay, let's just a reminder, because you have almost all of you have received a mail from Common Europe. We were going to organize naturally the Common Europe Congress. It was in Montpellier, France. So it has become a VK, virtual Common Europe Congress online. And for that, you have received the mail in which you could see, you have the link, and you can see all the information at our Common Europe website, and it is a very exciting agenda for the 4 days. So just a reminder, if you have not registered, please go and see this. So I'm very happy to welcome M81, and M81, there are 3 persons. Pascal Ruckbusch, and Pascal Ruckbusch is the CTO and founder of M81. So with this, Pascal, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ranga. Just a precision, we are not only 3 in the company, but these are the 3 commercial or sales contact or external contact that you can have. There's Bruno Taverne, that is who is located in France, and he is director for the sales and relationship with the partners. And Carl, who is located in Austria and responsible for every partners in German-speaking countries, so Austria, Germany, and a part of Switzerland. Okay, and today I will present you one of our products, which is Flash4i. First, let me introduce you to M81. So M81 is a French company. We are based in Lyon, in France, and our specialty is to write products specialized to manage the IBM system. So to help people who have in charge to manage the IBM. We currently have 3 products. I will show you the products later, right after. And we distribute our products in Europe at this time, but now it's in 11 countries, but we are growing and looking at some other countries and even other continents. And through a network of currently 25 partners or distributors. You have our website, and you can connect to this website and look at what we do. Okay, what are the 3 products that we manage, that we create? The first one is Control4i. The goal is to integrate most of the companies have a monitoring tool like Nagios or something like that, and they control or monitor many things in their IT except IBM. Control4i is there to monitor many things, and there are more than 130 checks inside. Flash4i, the one I will show you today, that's used the flash copy technology to run backups or do anything else. And Recover4i, which is the latest born of our 3 products, which allows to is a complement, a good complement to cold backup. If you have no high availability and only cold backup, it means if you have a crash, you get a new server or a new partition and you restore the data, then you restore from the last backup, from the last night. So potentially you lose 24 hours of data changes. What we do is reapply the changes. So use the journals to reapply the changes on your backup solution, your your cold backup solution. Okay, today we will talk about Flash4i. Flash4i is a product that is based on external storage. These external storage, which are Storwize, SVC, DS8000 in the IBM world, or EMC Vmax, and probably and normally other vendors or other contractor later. Those have a function which name is snapshot or flash copy. Flash copy is in the IBM world. This function allows to duplicate the disk of the production system, and we use it to help you to run your backup. So first, let's talk about the backup. Ideally, if you want to run backup, it's better to have no user for all the time of the backup, and it would be nice to do a Save21, so a full system backup every day. But it was possible a long time ago. Now it's not, because many customers have access through the web all around the world, have industry working during 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or night jobs that are heavier and heavier. So it's hard to find a window for the backups. So what is the solution? The solution is, there are other existing solutions. One is to run backup on the high availability partition. That's a good idea because you have all the data on this remote partition, but it's not possible to do a Save21 because the system is not the same. Potentially the PTFs are not the same and the configuration is not the same. Sometimes not everything's are backed up, are replicated. So maybe some libraries or some directories are not on the HA partition. And if the HA partition is on another site physically, then the backup and the tapes will be outside your physical site. So it's a good idea, but it's still not, it does not do everything. Another option is to use the Save While Active. Save While Active is quite easy to parameter. Again, there's no Save21. And in your batch job, if there's no tape available, for example, then your first instruction is locked, and you never get the synchronization point, and everyone is locked. And there are sometimes object locked that will not be saved. So it's a good idea, but it does not do everything. What is the solution that we bring? Our solution is to clone all the disk of the partition, of the production partition, and use another partition to run the backup. With this, it's not available with internal disk. You have to use external disk, so one of these at this time, but there are other kind of external disk bay that we will manage. And our solution, so Flash4i. Flash4i will manage everything and do everything for you. Okay, first, I will talk about the flash copy or snapshot during all this presentation, or at least during a part of this presentation. So you need to know what it is. That's a function provided by the disk subsystem, not available on the internal disk. It allows to make an instant copy of your disk. At this step, for those who don't know the snapshots or flash copy, I have to explain something. You have there are two ways to look at the flash copy. There's one way from the way you will use it, from the user's point of view, so from the partition. And there's another one from inside the box, from inside the disk subsystem. From outside the box, from the user partition, from the partition point of view, when we say to the SVC or to the disk system to start the flash copy, in 1 second, we have a full copy of the original disk. So if you have 10 disks of 1 terabyte each, and we start the flash copy, 1 second later, we have a copy of this 10 terabytes disk with all the exact data at the second where we pressed enter. And this copy can be used by another partition, by another system, and they are completely independent. And you can write things one side, write things the other side. You even could change the version and change from version 7.2 to 7.4 on one partition without to change anything on the second partition. These are really two different sets of disk. Sure, it's not possible in 1 second to copy 10 terabytes. So from inside the box now, inside the box, there's no copy. When we start the flash copy, the system prepares a set of pointers and prepares some structure, internal structure, when the disk bay itself will manage to know exactly who can see something, well, what partition can see the information, where they are stored, and only record the changes made by the production system or the clone system. This is an internal process. I can explain it. So if you want, we can have a one-to-one discussion and I can explain how it works. But for today, what I ask you is only look at it from the outside, so from the user's point of view. So when we start the flash copy, we have instantly a second copy of the disk available immediately and completely independent. And believe me, it works. It's completely independent from the server, so you could do it from Linux, Windows, or any kind of disk. If that's a disk, you can use it. It remains active all the time the flash copy is on. So when you stop the flash copy, it's exactly the same as if you delete the clone disk. So it's for a temporary usage. In this case, it uses only a little part of the disk space because only the changes are recorded, because we use the space efficiency or well, dynamic allocation, thin provisioning. That's the term. That's the way. So only the changes are written to the disk physically. So it does not use many space. There's another type of copy, still in the flash copy function, where you say, I want to copy all the data. In this case, you need, if you have 10 terabytes for the production, you need 10 terabytes for the clone partition. But this is only if you want to use it for several days, weeks, or months. If that's only for the backup, just for 1 day, one shot, then we don't copy everything. So if you have 10 terabytes, usually in less than 24 hours, the disk space used for the changes is between 5 and 15% of the original disk space. So how do we use the snapshot or flash copy technology? In fact, there are some ways to do it. The flash copy is a standard option of those disk subsystems. So you can use them manually. You can create your configuration and manually say to the Storewise or SVC, I want to start the flash copy or start the snapshot. And then you have a copy of your production system and you can start it manually and do some operations. That's a good idea, for example, if you plan to change the version of your IBM and of your partition, and you want to have a backup, security backup. In case of trouble, if there's something going wrong, you can switch back. So come back to the original disk. You have to know how to do that, but it's possible. So it's a good idea for this. But it's not good for daily backup. So you can do it occasionally. You have some internal development to do. You can write the programs. They are not very difficult to write, and there are some examples on the net. And many people did that. That's good too. For an occasional use, it's very nice. So just use it sometimes. But you will have to develop everything. And there's a professional way to do it. And you will see in the demonstration later today that that's like an iceberg. When you look at it, it seems to be very easy, but there are many, many things. And if you want to have something very nice, that's a lot of development. Okay, let's go. How does it work? And how do we manage all those backups? First, the infrastructure. You need an external storage, and usual partitions are looking like this. You have one server with your IBM partition. Usually there are 2 VIOS, and the disks are going through those VIOS. So everything is virtualized. This is the classical configuration. It also works with a not that classical configuration, but with a direct attach. So if you have a, let's say, a little system or mono-partition system with a direct attach disk, it's possible. There you have 1 or 2 fiber channel card. In this case, you need anyway to have 1 additional fiber channel card for the disk and a second partition, so it means an HMC. So the HMC is another thing that is mandatory. Okay, now the product itself. Your current configuration or usual configuration is to have your production system, production partition, connected to the storewise. I will say storewise, but you translate to disk subsystem, anyone. So we are connected and we have in our example 4 disks. What we will do during the install process, so at the beginning, we will first install the product. This little round is supposed to be the product. And we will configure the flash copy itself. So configure in the disk bay, in the storewise, this structure to make the flash copy. We will also create a clone partition and define everything to have it running. So the zoning and present through the VIOS or the direct card and show the tapes or tape drives. When everything is ready, then we start to use it. When we start to use it, we will have to use one command. This command is flclone, and you have to give one parameter, which is the name of the environment. This environment is will contain all the definition of everything we need. So in your CL program or in your scheduler, in the place where you have call the program to start the backup or the start backup BRM from BRMS, then you just have to replace this command to start the backup by this command flclone. Only one parameter, which is the name of the environment. So it means if sometimes you want to change something in your environment, in the definition, some IP address, some BRMS control group, or the name of the program, you have to do it in parameters in the product. You don't have to look at your 20 CLs or scripts or scheduler entries to change everything. Only one place. So when we use this command, what is done? First, we will quench the memory. In the IBM, many things remain in memory and remain active in memory, and they are not copied to disk immediately. What this command does, that's a system command, it will take everything that is active in the memory and copy them to the disk. It's transparent for the users. No one sees anything. No one is frozen. Then we connect to the Storewise and we start the flash copy. At this time, after 1 second, those disks exist and their content is the exact content of the original disk at the time, at the instant where we started the flash copy. And now they are independent. So on the production system, you continue working, you can start a batch, you can have many users working, and you will work all the day. During this time, those disks have the data from the instant where you started the flash copy. Now, the product FlashOI will connect to the HMC and start the clone partition. This has the disk and can start whatever they want. Right before to do that, we changed something in the partition. We changed the controlling subsystem. So when the partition starts, it does not start with your own startup program. It starts with our startup program, and it does what we want. So nothing from your applications, nothing from your system. What do we do? First, we will change some things. We will make sure that TCP/IP will not start and change the TCP/IP configuration, or well, at least make sure that there's the original IP address will not be visible on the network. We hold every scheduled job to make sure there's nothing from your organization that is running. We will change or adapt the resource name of the tape drives and make sure that no user subsystem is running. So all this is done automatically, and some other things, some other details. So when we did that, we changed a little part of the system to make sure there's nothing from your applications that is running. Now we have an empty system, a system with all the data, but nothing running. We can do whatever we want. And in this case, what we want to do is a backup. This backup is the one you do usually. We don't bring you a new backup program. If you use BRMS, you will use BRMS on the clone partition. If you don't use BRMS, but you have your own backup program with save library, save DLO, and save for the IFS, then you use your own program. You may not change it. And if you want to run a Save21, we have an option for the Save21. And you can run a Save21 every day because that's the clone partition that will be in restricted mode and that will run the backup for the data that you created at midnight, for example. On the production system, no one is locked, everyone can work, and the data changes are there. They are completely independent. So some of our customers now do a Save21 every day. And the backup can be done on your infrastructure, so your tape drives, tape libraries, or VTL, or whatever you want, whatever you already use on the production system. Okay, so with or without BRMS, even a Save21. I told you that after the flash copy is stopped, those disks will disappear. So the disk from the clone partition will not exist anymore. You won't have any history, any log. So what we do, we connect the clone partition to the network with a specific IP address, and we send back information to the production system. We send logs, internal logs, system logs. We send all the data from BRMS. So everything from BRMS is back on the production system. So you have all the history, all the tape, the volume names, etc. And we send, and you also, we provide a command where you can send your own files or your own spools. And we also send the job log of the job that has made has run the backup. When this is finished, we stop the partition and stop the flash copy. And it's done. what are the types of backup? I told you earlier that we are integrated into the product to run BRMS backup. Or if you don't have BRMS, you can use your own program or run a Save21, and the Save21 is done automatically. That's the same as a system Save21. All the operations are driven from the production system. It means you never have to connect to the clone partition. Everything is done on the production system. You can connect to the console of the clone partition, but it's not necessary, not at any time. It's done with a single command, with the fl clone command. Well, in fact, that's the main command, but we also cutted it into 4 different commands where you can connect to the HNC and start or stop the flash copy, the partition, or connect to the storewise and start or stop the flash copy. So you can decide to do it close to manually, one step at a time. Then you just have to integrate this new command, this fl clone command, to your scheduler or your CL or script programs. Okay, I just talked about the backup, and that's the main usage that is done, but you can use it for many other cases. For example, just one example, well, 2. The first one, on your production system, jobs are running and you find a bug in a program. I know bugs don't exist, but sometimes programs are going wrong by themselves. So if there's a bug in a program, the developers would like to connect to the production system to try something and check and find where is the bug exactly. And this is not a good idea to have a developer or tester on the production system. And on the prereq or the test partition, they don't have the right data. And most of the time, it looks like this. You will see a short video and you will see how it looks. When our developers are connecting on the production system, that's exactly like people looking at the engine on a truck that is on the road, rolling. That's not exactly a good idea. And when you let developers on your production system, it's exactly the same, dangerous. Second option, second example, with GDPR. GDPR asks you to anonymize the data. So the developers are not allowed normally to look at the real production data because there are confidential information. So you have to anonymize them. And this is a long process. You have to have your database available and without any change for a few hours, 1, 2, or 3 hours, for example. And this will create a second set of your database anonymized, and then you can use it. What we propose to you is clone the production partition, then you have a second partition with a database that will not change for the time you want, and you can run your process to anonymize your data without to cause any trouble to the production. So these are 2 examples. So you can anonymize, extract data from to a data warehouse because the data here on the clone partition don't move. Use this partition to run queries, SQL, in read-only mode for people that want to have an access of the data from last night or one day before. You also can have a second clone with a second set of disk because the flash copy, you can have up to 256 sets of flash copy. And with this, you can have several flash copies to do whatever you want. And there are many, many other use cases that you can use. So another example is to take a safe copy of your disk, for example, every hour, So during the day, from 8 to 20, you have 1 copy every hour. So if you have a big problem, a big trouble on the partition, on the production partition, you can start the copy that you want, where the data were stable at this time, were good, and look at the data and do whatever you want. So it's possible. You can create a test, debug environment, or anything else. So many other options. There are some specific context. Well, before to look at the specific context, I will go through a little demo. So I like when there's some risk, I will do it live. I'm still connected, that's okay. So what I want to do now is to show you how the product works and show you that you don't have to move outside from the production system. This is our production system. We have our 3 products installed. I will use the FlashOI product. So there's a menu. In this menu, this part of the menu, this first part, is for the daily exploitation. So what you have to, how you look and to see what happened. And the rest is for configuration or controls or some management. I told you that there's one command, flclone, to start. Here it is with its environment name. If I press F4, I have the list of the environment that we created. That's our test and demo partition. So with this, I can start one. I will not start it now because we don't have the time to go through a real presentation. So that's a short presentation that I will do. Those environments are configured here. With the option 1 here, the FL work environment, we will define all the possible environment. Why many environments? There's one for the daily backup, there's one for the weekly backup, and one for full backup, a Save21. You can see that there are backups with BRMS, there are backups without BRMS, there are Save21. So you have many options. And every kind of backup or every kind of usage you want to do with the clone partition, you can define them. If I take one just to see the parameters, there are 7 screens of parameters to define the environment. On the first screen, you give the information about the storage that will be used. This is another definition. Maybe you have seen it in the menu. In this independent definition, you will give the IP address of the storewise and the name of the consistency group that will be used and the user profile that will be used. And that's all. We will do the same with the partition, the clone partition information. So if I come back to the menu, I look at the storage. Here we have 3 kind of storage defined. And there's only this, an IP address, a profile, and the consistency group name. That's all. For the partition, if I use option 3 here, there's the list of the clone partition that we have. We have the IP address of the HMC, the user, the same for the HMC2, if there are 2, the server name, and the clone partition name. And that's all. With this, we can start and stop the partition and check what is the status. Okay, I come back to the environment, go back in definition of this one. So when I have this, what else do I have? Here, I know that for the flush of the memory, this is the command that will be used. For sysbase is necessary, and for the independent ISP, if there are, I give the name of the independent ISP here, and then the memory will be flushed for the independent ISP too. Then we give the information about what will be the configuration of the clone partition. It will have an IP address. We may change the name if we want. For a backup, it's not necessary, but for a test, could be a good idea. Where is the position of the Ethernet card, etc. Then, after the backup, what will we do with the clone partition? With keep, it keeps alive the partition, so the partition will remain active. So during the day, you can connect to the clone partition with the console and check or use it the way you want. Or we can end the partition. So after the backup, we stop the clone partition. We have less resources used, but the disks are still there, so you can restart it during the day. Or we end everything. We end the partition and the flash copy. In this, we don't have the clone partition anymore. Less resource used. And then, what kind of operation will we do on the clone system? If that's BRMS, here we give the name of the BRMS control group. And here we have the list of the control groups that we want to use and some other informations. You may want to make a Save21, so without BRMS and the Save21 every day. Then we just need the tape library or tape name, the volume name. If that's once a time, you give the volume name. If that's every day, you give an exit program name. And here, this program will give the name of the volume for today. And we give an example on how to do that program, etc. Or if you don't want this and you have your own program, you may want to run your own program. So you put your program and you do whatever you want. And we provide an example. There's also another option, which is user. If you don't want to run a backup, but directly make a test partition or something else partition, then user gives you some more options, and you can change, for example, and put your own controlling subsystem or startup program, and give the name of the program that will change or reconfigure the partition. I will not show it to you today, but we are working on version 4, and on version 4, we provide another option here where we do all the changes, all the IP changes, the remote database changes, the host table changes, restore user profiles or libraries. We do many, many things. That's another option that you will see in version 4. And there are many places where you can have place exit programs to do whatever you want at some points. Okay, so this is an environment, and there are other parameters, but we don't have the time to explain them here. So you see, you have all the definition, and everything, every detail is in the environment. Now, for the daily working with it, you have an option here, display history, where you see every time a new clone has been started. So we use it for demonstration and tests. So there are some holes there, but you see here, it has worked every day at 2 a.m. here. And we see that there are 50 or so messages, no error, usually. When there are errors, you can see them here. And you have some statistics on how long it takes. There, the partition remains active for 48 hours, for example, normally. What are the messages? These are the option 6 here, shows some of the messages. When there's an error, we can see it easily. And these are every steps that are done on the production or clone partition. Here, those messages have been generated on the production system. These have been generated on the clone system and sent back to the production. So we have them. We also get the job log of the job that has run the backup. So you have all the history. And again, we get up. It's been cleaned up, so I will take a more recent one. This one. No, option 9. Oh, someone has cleaned something. It's not good. Well, it was working this morning. So someone may have, some of my colleagues may have cleaned accidentally one file. Normally you have the message from the display log.
It is live demo. It's a proof.
Yes. Okay, so you have everything there and some more things, and we don't have the time to go through all the things now. So quickly, there are some specific context. You could have your production system here on the storage unit number 1 and remotely HA with remote mirroring or Metro Mirror, for example, or software replications installed. Then you can start the flash copy locally and use it there, or you can start it remotely, so on your backup copy, your HA copy. And there are some other specific things that you can do. You can, for example, cascade the flash copy. So you can have the production system and make a first flash copy and work on this, have a working partition, for example, start the anonymize process. And after this process is finished, then you create a second flash copy with the anonymized data, and your developers will work on this one. So when they say, oops, I deleted everything, then you just have to say, okay, let's come back, we stop this, and we start it again. So many things are possible. Okay, so the demo, I did it a bit before. You will have some screen copy. So what is, why do we say it's a product and not a tool? That's a real product and many functions and parameters, and everything is integrated. Our goal is, our main objective is to say, if something is complex, users don't have to see it. We have to manage it and just ask the main questions. That's what we do in our product. It's very easy to install and very quick to install. And the usage is fully automated, only one command again. And the upgrade from one release to another one is just a few minutes without technical instructions to run. It's open. There are several places with exit programs, and the product is planned to be usable with non-IBM storage and non-unknown storage at this time. There are specific options. And there's documentation and hotline. We are working on the version 4 that will be available this autumn. Currently, we have more than 150 partitions installed with the product, with some well-known customers. We will see a screen with it later. Well, this one is not good anymore. That's oh yes, in 11 European countries. Okay, some prerequisite. It works with IBM I starting with v7.1, and it's the same product for 7.1, 2, 3, and 4. Same product. You need to have an external storage, and version 7.1 of the Spectrum Virtualize is a very old version, so it works continuously. And the flash copy must be available. So if that's integrated in your StoreWise, that's okay. Sometimes you have to purchase it in addition. For the other one, it works, but you have to contact us for the prerequisite. Additional space. So if you have, if your goal is to create a test partition that will be active for 1 month, for example, maybe it's a good idea to have twice this disk space. So if you have 10 terabyte for the production, and you want to have your clone partition for test during 1 month, maybe it's a good idea to have twice the 10 terabytes, so 20 terabytes. If that's for daily backup, then we use the thin provisioning. So if you have 10 terabytes for the production, only 5 to 15% of those 10 terabytes are necessary for the clone disk. It's not possible, or it's very hard to estimate before, because it depends on what activity there is on your production system. But in our experience, more in 95% of the time, it's somewhere between 5 and 15% of the original disk space for 24 hours. Okay, the licensing mode. You can buy the license and have the maintenance, or you also can take a subscription, so pay every year or every 6 months, depend on the way you want to manage your budget. We can help you in the pre-sales, so have a more in-depth demo with you and give more explanations. And the operating and installation is very easy and very quick, so it does not need much time. Usually it's between 1, 2, or 3 days to do that, and we have many partners that do that by themselves. Here is just an example of customers, and we have customers in 11 countries. Here in England, these are in France. This one is in Belgium. This one is in Austria, etc. And this was in Poland. So they are not there for all of them, but we have a lot of them. Okay, so this is the end. That was a quick presentation. It's exactly 1 hour. That's marvelous. Now, well, we show this because M81 is the name of our company. It's also the name of a galaxy that you can see here. Okay, so Bruno, are there some questions? Bruno with the microphone.
Yes, sorry. Okay, there were one easy question, but it depends on the way you understand it. How to restore from the clone disk to the primary partition, to the production partition, in case of disaster on the database or on the disk?
Okay, so first, using flash copy or snapshot is not a HA solution. It's not a high availability. You have a copy, it's on the same box, on the same storewise. So if you lose the disk if you lose the storewise, you lose everything. In the backup option, the clone partition is only there to run the backup. So copy everything on the tape, on an external tape. If you take a copy every hour, for example, and you want to have it available just in case of big trouble on the production system inside the database, not on the hardware, but inside the database, then you have 2 options. The first one is to start the clone partition in manual mode and look at the database or look at the files that are corrupted. Then you can save to a save file or virtual tape, transfer with FTP to the production and restore. This is an option. If you really have a big trouble in your database, on your production database, then you can switch the disk. So the disk of the production are used in your 10 terabytes. You have the disk of the clone partition, and you can say, okay, the production is, we stop the old production and we start the new production, and this is the new production system. So this is possible, and there are several techniques to do that. One is very easy. You just stop the partition, start the new one, and that's all. Another one is not easy, that's switch the disk. It's not easy to do, but it's possible. Okay.
Okay. Can the jobs in different environments be scheduled via the job scheduler?
Yes, that's exactly it. It's in fact, you can use everywhere you call your program to start the backup or to start something else. You can use the FL clone command. That's an IBM standard command. So you can start it from anywhere, from the internal job scheduler, from an outside job scheduler, from any job scheduler, or in a simple submit job, whatever you want. That's an IBM command.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Really, it was
Thank you.
very, very interesting, Pascal. Very instructive presentations. And before closing, I would like to remind just 3 things to the people. The first, there is a post-event survey, so don't forget, there are many important questions. After that, the second point is do not forget the virtual cake, and that is from 16th to 19th of November. And so you can go on Common Europe website, you will see everything that is needed, and you can register there also. And the third thing, do not forget to wash your hands often. Thank you so much. I will close with this. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.